and distinguished audience. It's really difficult time when lunch is going on and we are having the session. So the first challenge for me is to conclude my sessions very fast, number one. So I am basically a computer science professor from an engineering college and has taken over this university. This university is based in Haldwani. It is in district Nainital in Uttarakhand. So it's a new open university which I have taken over. Before I start my session and before I start my observations, I feel that I am giving my all observations not as leaders but as a worker of the university, because as all of us know that leader has got lost this entity in this whole country. So I don't want to call as an education leader or something kind of that kind of stuff. The problem in the higher education is really difficult, and as Professor R.P. Singh and Professor Sangal told, I was looking to the counseling schedule of all the states in this particular session for engineering and MBA, and believe me that in place like UP, Uttarakhand, even in Andhra, only 35 to 40% seats are filled in the engineering, and people have just taken a shift away paradigm from engineering and MBA kind of a professional course. Last day, the corporate manager, the chief manager of Bank of Baroda has come to us, and he was telling me one important kind of thing, that sir, this time for our clerical people, 20-30 BTechs in electronics and computer are working as clerical cadre, but due to utter surprise, they have just advertised for class 4, and 50 of the class 4 applications is also from the BTech kind of stuff. BTC, the state government, our state government and even the UP state government has just cancelled all the advertisement, because in the BTC program, most of the BTechs and BCAs and MBAs have applied, and that was especially for the class school teachers, so they have to change the advertisements. I was talking to the DGP of UP, and he said that most of the crime people or a crime kind of a thing in last 3 years, most of them were conducted by the Polytechnic and in the engineering graduates. So my friends, this is a real kind of a problem where we are thinking we are giving a piece of degree. The country is facing another kind of a thing on the fake currency. But I have got a point to say that the universities are producing a certificate which is not useful for the society or which is not useful for the students. We have to really look into the problem of giving a kind of a degree which is not usable by our youth. And when especially we have 20% dividend on which we are vouching for the country that in the next 10 years we will have the biggest youth. And if we are augmenting our youth by these kind of degrees which are not useful to society, to themselves and the things, it's really a question which we have to ponder before really answering with what big things we are doing. So these are the challenges to the higher education. So I think one of the answers which Professor Sangal has given, I'm also, is ICT is the solution, then what is the problem? Is ICT is the answer, then what is the question? And if ICT is what we do, what is it in aid of? So there are inclusive education for all prosper in the knowledge economy. How can we achieve the above goal is the question. And quality education we talk is for all what we want to do. So there are challenges in the higher education. The challenge of numbers, which Professor Pillai and his team is working, increasing the gross enrollment ratio. But then there is a challenge of quality, providing a higher quality learning experience at reasonable cost. Then there is a challenge of employability, although we say in the traditional system that sa vidya ya vimukta, education is what it free from everything. But then employability is one of the questions which we have to answer in this knowledge economy, and the challenge of access. With all the kind of the traditional and the technology we have, even in Uttarakhand, I visited a place like Nainital, we don't have internet access. Especially when I brought my e-video in the kind of thing, it is not working in Hyderabad also. So with all the kind of thing, we could not make the internet access as cheaper than the kind of a mobile kind of phone, still after this so many years. But the most important is the challenge of the mindset. A good example which we have with a story which I have said. Imagine a ship at a sea that is in the trouble. The light keep going out. The engine is flattering. The rudder is unreliable. The first mate is drunk. The crew is very demoralized. The service is appalling. The passengers on the ship are very satisfied. So then a new captain and a first mate are flown by the helicopter. Everything changes. Crew morale is lifted. Service improves. The engine is fixed. The rudder is fixed. The light stays on. Everything seems fine. But then what happens if the ship is still headed in the wrong direction? So we have to look into the things that whatever we are trying to do, whether we are really going into the right direction for the higher education or not. That is what is a big question. So what does it mean in the context of our higher education system? We have to change the direction from a system that provides access to quality higher education to a very small fraction, less than 10%, to creating a high quality education system that is accessible to almost 100% of the aspirant in the target age group. We also have to provide for upgradation against what we say is a lifelong kind of learning skills and a lifelong kind of a learning kind of a thing. Look to the IITs. I don't say the 5 IITs we have replicated it to the 10 IITs. What is happening to the other 5 IITs, I think all of us know and debate at certain points. That those new IITs even don't have a classroom, they don't have infrastructure, they don't have a faculty. That has also happened in the triple IITs. There are only 1, 2 triple IITs from which the companies like Microsoft, Yahoo, Google goes, and they don't go into the other triple IITs also for the campus interview. So there can be a spark in the cloud, but that cannot have a lightning kind of a thing. So that a traditional model of education is admit a few naturally occurring good learners, and they are always in the society, even the IITs are there or not, they will be always there. Recruit some naturally occurring good faculty, put them in a nice campus and good learning would happen. But I don't think so, because there are limitations in the traditional model. It is not replicable, it is not scalable, and it is not sustainable also. So these are the 3 things. So the significance of the technology, it has given some empowerment. Only a technology-empowered model can have the above attributes of being replicable, scalable, and sustainable. But technology alone is not enough. I think Sangal Sahab has said the technology to send hundreds of emails does not ensure the ability to write something intelligent or interesting. The computer virus is also a technology, and the kind of the keyboard is also whatever we have got in the typing. When we discovered or created that typewriter, we thought that we should have a keyboard which will type fast, but it was not the thing. The keyboard was made like that because you can type less and in a lesser speed. So the ICT can affect the education, what is taught, what is assessed, who teaches how and where, from autonomous independent institution to independent collaborate sustainable ecosystems can develop. Emergence of independent educators, teaching and learning networks and learning communities can be developed. So we need new skill sets, falling demand for old skill set, lifetime of a particular skill set is decreasing, learning how to learn become critical. So generic skill which is needed in the world tomorrow is ICT fluency, adaptive and flexible personality, creativity and innovation, entrepreneurship. We are talking about employability, but in this country, sorry state of affairs that we have not talked about entrepreneurs, and for the whole assembly line, we have not produced entrepreneurs. Learning across disciplines, and this is a very frog story. The frog is sitting on a log, watching flies in the middle of Amazon rainforest, similar to all other of his kind, except by a generic clue he perceives his surround as they were a second ago. So what happens when the frog sees a fly within the range, he lunges out, but due to the lack of information, he misses and he dies. That is what is kind of a thing. So we need to be things that what technological advances are going on, we have to have those kind of a thing. So that is what I propose in the last. So we may look at as a double strand. One of is the traditional academic knowledge in language, science, maths, etc., upgraded as per present. And the other is the set of generic skill, such as learning to learn, unlearn, and relearn, together with yearning to learn and a range of information skills in addition to ICT fluency. So we can have a double kind of an helix, which can give of enhancing motivation and all other kind of things. Believe me, in the last I want to say, I went to some of the villages who are just there in Uttarakhand. They have asked me, sir, our sons are going into the hotel industry in Delhi, and the Uttarakhand people are very good in the hospitality and management, and they are just earning 3,000 to 4,000 rupees in a kind of a hotel in Delhi. They say, can you bring some education where they can produce this much kind of a thing in the village? They can produce some flowers, they can produce some kind of a things, and then they can learn. So we have to create that kind of education. I was having some 5 posts of government has given. I was searching for a good electrician. I could not get in 8,000 rupees. But when I advertised for electrical engineer, there were 100 of applications. This is happening in the country. That if you want a good electrician, you don't get. But if you want electrical engineer, there are hundreds of BTechs coming for an interview. So we have to really look at where we are going to that kind of an education. Are we really doing some kind of a thing, or we are producing a piece of paper and giving a piece of degree, which is really not helpful to the people. So we have to really look and create some kind of a things. And the other thing which in the Open University, we did some kind of a thing for human values and ethics. We have launched this course also, and we have made it compulsory for all the people. There are 4 core courses I made compulsory. One is personality development and functional English. Other is the heritage course, which a person should know that in what environment he's grown and other things. But I think at this point, industry, even with the industry people, I am really sorry to say that most of their programs are like a Rotary Club programs. We come, have a good picture, and go away. They don't take the hand-holding, very kind of thing. It may be a... So we have to do a hand-holding in the academia and the industry very commonly and produce something which is really good for the society. Otherwise, I don't know what will happen in another 10 years. Thank you very much.